In 2021, more than 1 million Americans became millionaires. That's according to research firm Spectrum Group. And Fed data reveal that the top 1% hold nearly 10 times more wealth than the bottom 50% combined.
Increased from $3,800 in 1990 to more than $10,000. That's approaching 3 times the cost after adjusting for inflation.
Crushing student debt.
I have $69,812.
$47,000.
$90,000.
$35,000.
$350,000.
$60,000 worth of student loans.
My minimum student loan payment is $1,000 a month.
It's where Silicon Valley bus drivers sleep in their cars at night because they can't afford housing near work, and where school teachers can't afford to live in the counties they teach.
The middle class is the foundation of America's economic might. However, the last 50 years have shown a disastrous trend that brought the middle class to its weakest point in decades. Today, many have nostalgia about the good old times when one breadwinner could support a household and give children a decent education. So in this video, we'll talk about 10 facts about how the middle has changed since the 1970s. But before moving on to the first point, please consider subscribing to the channel. That way, you'll support our future work. Without further delay, let's start with the first point. Number 1, purchasing power. Although there are clear signs of paycheck increase in the last 50 years, that does not mean that an average family can afford more. Recent PEW analysis shows that the average hourly wage today has similar purchasing power than that of 1978 after adjusting for inflation. This is due to the decline in the 1980s and early 1990s, followed by inconsistent growth. In reality, the highest average hourly earnings in real terms were recorded over 50 years ago, with the $4.03 US an hourly rate in January 1973 having the same purchasing power as 23.68 today dollars. The usual weekly earnings of full-time wage and salary workers also demonstrate a similar trend, with median earnings rising from $232 US in the first quarter of 1979 to $879 in the second quarter of 2018 in current dollars. However, in terms of inflation-adjusted earnings, the median has barely changed over the same period, with $232 in 1979 having the same purchasing power as $840 today. Number 2, income inequality. The data presented here clearly shows the median household income in the United States has significantly climbed from 1970 to 2014. It's important to note that the median household income for the middle class in 2014 was $73,000 whereas in the 1970s, a middle-class family earned around $54,000. Although there has been an increase in income since 1970, the rise for middle-class households has not been as significant as for upper-income homes. The median income for middle-class families in 2020 was over $90,000. 50% higher than the $59,000 median income in 1970, measured in 2020 dollars. These gains were made gradually, except for the lost decade from 2000 to 2010, when revenue dropped for everyone. The rise in income from 1970 to 2020 was steepest for upper-income households. Their median income increased 69% during that time span, from $130,000 staggering $220,000. Number 3, low-income growth. The findings of the study by the economists from the University of Minnesota, the University of Chicago, Princeton University, and the federal government are pretty concerning. The study looked at the career earnings of workers born every year since 1932, focusing on those who spent at least 15 years in the labor force. Researchers used wage and salary data from the Federal Social Security Administration to calculate the median career earnings of workers born each year. What they discovered is alarming. The typical 27-year-old man in 2013 earned 31% less annually than his counterpart in 1969. Data suggests that young men today are unlikely to earn enough in the future make up for this decline. Number 4, dire employment opportunities. Job market has changed in the past 50 years with fewer middle-income jobs and more jobs that require higher skills. Many routine tasks have been automated and new jobs require technical and soft skills training. These higher skill jobs are likely to be higher paying but need more education and training. The following chart illustrates the evolution of employment distribution across 9 occupational groups, from the least paid, health and personal services, to the highest paid, managers. Additionally, middle-class jobs are not distributed evenly throughout the United States. While manufacturing jobs often lead to middle-class wages have decreased in the country, they have not declined uniformly across all regions. For instance, manufacturing centers in states like Indiana, Missouri, and Wisconsin still support numerous middle-class families. On the other hand, technology hubs like Boston, San Francisco, and Huntsville have greater income stratification, with workers primarily concentrated among the high and low income groups. Number 5, unliftable education costs. The analysis of the U.S. Census Bureau of Labor Statistics and National Center for Education Statistics data from 1980 to 2019 shows that college costs have skyrocketed by 169% over the past 4 decades. Meanwhile, the earnings for workers between the ages of 22 and 27 have only increased by a mere 19%. It's alarming to see that wages for young workers of all educational levels have grown sluggishly over the past several decades. Even though college costs have increased, workers with bachelor's degrees seem to have a fair better at the labor market. However, it's worrying that the median earnings for young adults with a college degree are hovering around $45,000 American dollars, while those without a college degree only earn $30,000 US. Number 6, unaffordable housing. The astronomical increase in home prices over the years is alarming. In the second quarter of 1972, the median price of a home was a mere $26,000, which would be equivalent to approximately $190,000 US today. However, since then, home prices have skyrocketed by 132%. It's crucial to note that these are just national median prices, and in some regions, sales prices are significantly higher. Take, for example, the Los Angeles metropolitan area, where the median sales price of a home in June was almost $920,000, or San Jose, where it was a staggering $1.46 million. Even in Seattle, the sales price was around $726,000, according to Zillow data. This trend's concerning and raises questions about affordability for those seeking to purchase a home. Number 7, expensive healthcare. Unsurprisingly, healthcare emerges as one of the topics when comparing the standards of living. According to KFF, health spending totaled $74 billion in 1970. By 2000, health expenditures had reached about $1.4 trillion, and in 2021, the amount spent on health tripled to $4.3 trillion. It's alarming to discover that back in 1972, individuals had to pay an average of over $129 as out-of-pocket expenses for their health care. If we adjust the amount for inflation, it would be equivalent to $915 US today. Fortunately, in 2020, the most recent year for which data is available, people had to shell out an additional $400 in out-of-pocket costs, totaling $1,350 when adjusted to the 2022 dollar value. This is an enormous increase in healthcare expenses, and it's crucial to take note that this when planning for one's medical requirements. As a result, a Gallup survey in 2022 revealed that 26% of adults have delayed or refrained from seeking medical attention or buying prescription medication within the past 6 months due to the increased cost of healthcare. This percentage rises to 43% for adults residing in lower-income households with an annual income of less than $24,000 American dollars. Number 8, retirement savings disaster. Various sources reveal that retirement plan savings for middle-class American households have significantly increased over time, surpassing the growth of their annual incomes. For the middle class, comprising the middle 40% of the population, retirement plan savings have risen from 33% of their annual revenues in 1970 to 53% in 1980 to 101% in 1990 to 168% in 2000 and finally to an impressive 210% in 2014. However, many individuals born between 1965 and 1980, commonly referred to as Gen Xers, are not saving enough for their retirement. Recent National Institute on Retirement Security report reveals that the average household has a retirement savings of only $40,000. Number 9, generational crisis. Every parent wants their children to do better than them, but modern realities don't give such a chance to future generations. Over the years, there's been a decline in the probability of younger generations surpassing their parents' income. In 1940, children were highly likely to earn more than their parents by the age of 30. However, for those born in 1984, the chances were equal. This comparison illuminates the level of upward mobility across generations. If children are struggling to match their parents' success, it suggests that there are obstacles to achieving a similar standard of living. Number 10, financial instability. An article written in Harvard Magazine in 2006, middle-class families have been threatened on every front, rocked by rising prices for essentials as men's wages remain flat. Both dad and mom have entered the workforce, strategy that's left them working harder just to try to break even. Even with 2 paychecks, family finances are stretched so tightly that a very small misstep can leave them in crisis. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and share your thoughts on the subject in the comments section below.